Oh no, I forgot my keys. What am I gonna do? Well, it ain't that bad. I still got me chocolate and cheese. Hello and welcome to the show. Lou.
Hello.
What's today's topic again? I forgot.
I forgot too.
Oh, damn. Alright, well, it's all about memory. It's all about not to forget things. Okay, so I'm actually going to dedicate this episode to you because we all know, well, actually our viewers don't know that, well, you're not really the memory prodigy now, are you? Yeah, you tend to forget.
Terrible.
Yeah, you tend to forget.
I'm very, very
That's
terrible
right. You
about
tend to forget things like keys and don't know where you put that and that and that, whatever. So this show really is to help all those people like our Lou to make sure she doesn't forget things.
Yeah. Please
Because
help me.
exactly. Well, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Absolutely.
Thank you.
There's actually a couple of strategies, a couple of things that I do myself to make sure that I don't forget things like key and
so
you
people
know.
are trying
Absolutely.
not forget.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, seriously, are you trying to patronize me now? Okay. Now, one of the first things is a very, very simple technique. Okay, and this actually is to make sure that you're not forgetting your key, for example, or that you're not forgetting. You know, imagine you're going on holidays and you're suddenly outside, or you're suddenly already on the plane, and you're thinking, "Oh God, did I switch off the light? Or did I switch off the tab?" You see stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now here comes the tips. Now what you're gonna do,
stressful.
very,
Yeah.
very simple, very, very simple. Okay, put a couple of stickers, and I mean you can use post-its. You can use anything. You can just sellotapes.
Okay.
You know, use some sellotape, and you put some paper with symbols on them. Symbols being symbol of a key, symbol of a light bulb, symbol of a tab. To remind you whenever you leave the door, whenever you leave your flat, to make sure that you're going to be reminded of doing these things. So taking your key, switching off the tab, and switching off the light. Simple.
Okay.
You like that? You like it? Of course you do. Of course you do. Right. Next one. Really big one. Really big one. Really big one. I only say credit cards. Credit cards, debit cards, whatever cards you have.
Yeah.
PIN numbers. PIN numbers. I mean, seriously. Do you know it was hard enough, you know, if you only had one credit card to just remember PIN, the 4-digit PIN? And now imagine you have a couple, and I actually do have a couple of cards.
Yeah.
You know, and you yourself, you have a couple of cards.
Yeah.
So how do you remember that number? Okay, now here's a good tip. What you're going to do is, for each number that you have on the card, you're going to look for the corresponding letter in the alphabet. Now what I mean by that is that 1 corresponds to A, 2, B, C, 3, 4, D. Absolutely. And with that, you're actually creating a sentence, a simple sentence.
Okay.
Now, what you have to keep in mind, obviously, you only have 10 numbers. So that's actually, no, 0 doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that actually doesn't work. Okay, well, let's hope you don't have a 0 in there, unless you can just say the 0 is an O maybe, for example. That's what you could do, yeah. But anything from 1 and 9 will correspond to that particular letter. Okay, so for example, if you had a credit card number with a PIN, let's say 9722.
Okay.
What are the letters? What do we have? With 9, what's that letter?
N.
No, it's not N.
9. N.
Count down the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2. So
Okay, sorry.
So what's 9?
I.
Exactly, it's an I. Okay, what's the 7 then?
G.
Okay.
G?
Yeah. Okay. And then what's the BB?
2.
Sorry, 2. That's BB. Sorry, I actually said it. I actually gave it away. Okay. So
You said that.
so you could use the IGBB to just make a simple sentence that makes sense to you. Makes sense to you, maybe, you know, entertains you, you find funny, whatever. So you could say, I don't know, I got big balls. I mean, you could. I mean, you could. I got big boobs. You could say I got big boobs. you could, whatever you want.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Oh well, okay, that's. Yeah, but you basically you get the idea. So you use something that is actually meaningful to you. The thing is, when I'm saying this, obviously you have different cards, so you have to think about different kinds of sentences. That might be a little bit tricky. But now, having said that, the funny thing is, if can you imagine somebody, listening to this show, taking this very, very seriously, as you do, and then you see this guy in front of the cash machine, trying to think of his number, and he comes up with all these words like big boobs, big cocks, big suck box. That would be so embarrassing. No, I can say these things because, I'm going to put the thing on, absolutely. Now, closely related. I mean, do you like this? I mean, making a meaningful sentence, out of these numbers by corresponding numbers, corresponding in the alphabet. I think that's awesome. I think it's good. It helps me. The next one is kind of close to that. It's kind of similar. Again, how many times do you go shopping and you know that you have to buy a couple of things, and then you're in the shop and suddenly it's all gone. You have no idea what you were thinking about this morning. I mean, obviously, okay, people are going to say now, hey, have a shopping list, and that's true. I mean, if you're thinking about having 20, 30 items, you need to bring a shopping list, obviously. But you see, sometimes you just pop down the shop.
Just like 3, 4 items.
Absolutely, that's the one. Yeah, the 3, 4, 5 items maybe, and that's the next tip now. This is really useful. So what you're going to do, think about the first letter of each of the items. Okay. Let's, for example, say you want to have ice cream. Yeah. And you want to have
orange juice.
Okay, let's say orange juice. And I can't think of anything. And cheese. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And something else.
One more? Okay.
What else
Green tea.
Green tea. Okay. Oh my God, you made it really difficult there. You know what? I wasn't thinking about that. Can we just see? Okay. Let's.
Okay. If you prepare.
Wait. You made it too difficult. Okay. Let's say ice cream. Yeah. You want some a coconut. Yeah. And then you want to have some envelopes.
What are you gonna make then? Ice cream, coconut, envelope.
Yeah, it's ice. So the only thing you have to remember is ice. Okay, I know that now this is obviously not always going to make a word, but it's easier to remember a couple of letters. It's going to be easier than this. But in that case, it actually works as the ice. So it's just, I mean, you might go into the shop and just buy ice cream because you think, hey, I remember ice. Okay, so this was.
Then you just buy ice.
Exactly, that would be the problem. Absolutely. No, but I actually use that strategy. I think it's quite useful. Use the first letter of the alphabet for each item. Okay. Another one that I'm using, and this is what I'm particularly proud of. Okay, because I've never ever heard anybody using that, and it's really, really brilliant. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do. I mean, one of the reasons why I said. Use something meaningful, because simply, like when you use a word or when you use a sentence even, you're basically using something that's meaningful to you. And whenever something is meaningful to you, makes you laugh maybe, is attached to any kind of emotions, you're going to remember it. It's much easier to remember this, rather than just a string of numbers. Much easier. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to be using is, again, using some not vision or anything like that, but it's actually using sensation. Okay. Physical sensation. I mentioned that to you actually. Some of the things I'm using, that I'm doing, and they sound a little bit controversial, a little bit weird, okay, but it's very, very effective, and it's about, it's not about forgetting the key at home, but it's actually making sure that you've locked the door. Well, actually, that you closed the door and that you then shut the door. Okay. Because, I mean, seriously, whenever you go out there, you're in your car, you're in the public transport or whatever, and you say, did I just lock that door? Did I close the door? Yeah. Can totally happen, and that's a scary thought, especially if you haven't actually closed the door at all. You have to leave it open. But even if you leave your door unlocked, that's really easy for a burglar to get in. It's apparently that's. I mean, I've never tried it myself, but that's supposed to be quite easy actually. So what I'm doing, okay, and this is it sounds a bit weird, but I'm doing this. So while I'm actually locking the door with the key, so I'm turning the lock, I'm holding the key really, really tight. I grip really tightly, okay? And it's almost like a little bit uncomfortable. It's like, it's you know, I mean, I'm not saying painful, but it's uncomfortable. And then I'm trying to make sure, I keep, like pulling and pushing the doorknob, just to make sure it's really, really close, yeah? Again, I lose quite a lot of force, so it's, it's kind of like pulling the muscle and stuff like that. Okay, so when I go downstairs, I can still feel that it's kind of like, not hurting, but it's you can feel it's like, oh yeah, it's uncomfortable. And that physical sensation makes me remember, yes, I definitely closed the door and I shut the door because yeah. So I think that's.
For example, your thumb is a little bit
sore. My thumb might be sore. Absolutely, and that's how easy that is, And I'm sure that people I've never heard of anybody else doing that, but I think especially when it comes to like locking the doors, that's something that people can quite easily forget and then not remember simply because it's an automatic behavior we do every day. You don't consciously think about, oh yes, have I done this movement? So it's a good thing to do. The funny thing, if I'm thinking about when people listen to the show, maybe taking it to the extreme. Can you imagine this guy coming out, girlfriend in the car saying, "Hey John, have you locked the door?" And he comes out covered in blood, his tooth knocked in, and half an arm missing or something. Well, he probably overdid it. Trying to make sure that door is locked. Well, anyway. Well, I hope, Lou, that you found these couple of tips useful, and that are you going to be using one of them? Which one was your favorite? Which one is your favorite?
The physical
one? The physical one, yeah. Well, I have to say, this is actually kind of like one of the easy ones because you don't have to think so much, you don't have to make up words and stuff like this. You just remember. It's a physical memory, So, yeah, I mean, and likewise, I'm thinking, hey, if any of our listeners, have some other great ideas, to make sure that we don't forget things, that get us into trouble, like forgetting keys and all sorts of things, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We always appreciate that, yeah, so that would be awesome. Yeah. Shall we wrap up this episode? All right then. Okay. Well, thanks for commenting and liking this particular episode. And if you really like our shows, why not subscribe to our channel? We'd really appreciate that. All right then. Well, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from Lulu.
All right then. Fantastic. Until next time. Bye.